Okay, so once again, you are welcome to our lecture series in human rights education. So in this video, we will be discussing the presumption of innocence and the right to bail. So the objectives of this lesson is that at the end of this, you are expected to understand the applicability of the right to bail of a person arrested, as well as to understand the concept of the presumption of innocence clause. So first thing first, we shall be discussing that every accused, every person arrested for a crime and processed for a crime are considered or they have the right to be presumed innocent unless proven otherwise. So it says in there in section 14 of the Rules of Court, no person shall be held to answer for a criminal offense without due process of law. Meaning, okay, before a person will be convicted, will be judged, first thing first, he has to undergo the due process of law, which we have already discussed in the earlier videos. Because the presumption is that the person is innocent. In fact, even if other people have seen it, that the person committed a crime, still there is what you call the presumption of innocence. Now, it is the burden of the state or the burden of the government to prove the guilt of the person. Unlike a long time ago, the process of accusation is that the uh, the innocent or the accused will prove his innocence by presenting evidence that he is not guilty or he did not commit a crime. But today it is the contrary, in which if you are the accuser, you should be the one to prove the guilt of the you're the one to prove the guilt of the person. Okay, so there must be a due process of law from the arresting, arraignment, the preliminary or the preliminary investigation, the arraignment, the pre-trial, okay, the trial until the conviction. And in Article 2, in paragraph 2, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall be presumed innocent until the contrary is proved and shall enjoy the right to be heard by himself and counsel. So kailangan pakinggan mo yung kanyang evidence, pakinggan mo yung kanyang contention kay na hindi siya guilty and to be informed the nature and the cause of accusation. Okay, we know that already. And then to have a speedy, impartial, and public trial. And then to meet the witnesses face to face. So yung tinatawag nating uh, face to face confrontation, hindi pwedeng nagtatago yung witness. Kaya nga minsan, marami ang mga tinatawag natin na-acquit na mga guilty accused because walang witness na tumatayo to prove the guilt of the person. Kaya minsan yung right na tinatawag natin right of the victim also is being trampled because of this right of the accused na kailangan ay face-to-face confrontation na kahit talagang 100% na siya ay guilty, eh kung walang tinatawag natin witness na pupunta, so eventually the accused will be protected from being convicted. No? Yun ang problema diyan. Kaya minsan sa trials or sa mga kaso, binabayaran nila yung mga witnesses para hindi mag-appear sa korte or kung ayaw mabayaran, pinapatay nila so that kapag wala nang nag-appear sa korte, wala nang magpo-prove sa guilt ng accused since ang presumption ng constitution natin, ng ating batas ay innocent siya, eh walang magpo-prove ng guilt ng tao kaya ang mangyayari diyan madi-dismiss yung kaso for failure to prosecute. And then to have compulsory process to secure the attendance of witnesses and the production of evidence in his behalf. In other words, bibigyan si accused kanyang uh, ng kanyang karapatan upang mag-produce siya ng kanyang mga sariling witnesses at mga ebidensya na magpo-prove sa kanyang innocence later on if ever natapos na si prosecution or si accuser na mag-present ng kanilang testimony and evidence. However, after arraignment, okay, so remember arraignment, okay, so that's the time now when the accusation is read to the accused in open or in public court. Babasahin yung arraignment sa kanya. So, however, after arraignment, trial may proceed notwithstanding the absence of the accused, provided that he has been duly notified and his failure to appear and is unjustifiable. So in other words, maaring yung right ni accused for a face-to-face confrontation, okay, will be we call it waive kapag si accused ay sinabihan na mayroong ito yung kanyang day of trial, ito yung kanyang day of hearing, ito yung oras, and yet hindi siya nag-appear, so pwedeng mag-proceed yung tinatawag natin yung proceedings, yung trial without him. Kasi na-waive na niya yung kanyang right for a face-to-face confrontation because of his failure to appear his failure to appear is unjustifiable in spite that he was properly notified by the court. Now, because of that, because uh, accused or the people who are accused of a crime are presumed to be innocent, so they have the right uh, to be released from prison or to be released from jail if they are temporarily detained for that accusation. Why? Kasi innocent sila eh. However, tinatawag natin, hindi naman basta-basta nalalabas sila kasi innocent sila, labas mo na ako. No, there must be a security. There must be what you call a something like a band, meaning pag sinabing band, ito yung uh, nakatali siya doon, no? Napag-usapan natin yan na talagang babalik siya sa korte para mag-appear sa court trial. So, hindi big sabihin na, oh, di bali, innocent naman ako, wala pa namang ebidensya, baka pwede pa akong lumabas, no? Hindi ganun kadali, mayroong sinet ang ating rules of court na tinatawag nating surety or security upang siya ay temporarily na makalabas pending conviction or pending the final judgment. And that is your bail. So, meron siyang karapatang mag-file ng kanyang bail, okay, because anyway, he is presumed innocent for that moment. So, in Section 13, it says there that all persons, so lahat ng mga naakusahan ay pwedeng mag-file ng bail for their temporary release. However, there are exemptions. Who are those exempted? Those charged with offenses punishable by reclusion perpetua. Ano yon? Yung mga death penalty, mga heinous crimes. Okay? Life imprisonment ang penalty na mga yon. If the evidence is strong. If the evidence of guilt is strong, then hindi sila pwedeng mag-file ng bail. Okay? So, all persons before conviction, so bago ma-convict, okay, be bailable by sufficient sureties or be released on recognizance as may be provided by law. So, lahat, except lamang sa mga nakasuhan ng mga heinous crimes in which the crime is punishable by a capital punishment and the evidence is strong. Therefore, there is a therefore there. Sabi niya, uh, when evidence of guilt is strong. So if the evidence of guilt is strong, so there's a condition. In other words, even if you are accused of an offense punishable by reclusion perpetua, if the evidence is not strong, okay, so the court now will exercise its discretion whether he is going to grant bail. Kasi nga hindi naman strong yung evidence against you. Pero kapag very strong yung evidence against you, ay hindi ka i-grant ng bail. Eh sir, bakit ganon? Nandi naman strong yung evidence, hindi pa pala ako outright na magbe-bail. Well, because yung discretion ng korte ay merong tinatawag nating conditions na uh, susundin ng court natin. Kahit hindi strong yung evidence, capital punishment yan, meron pa ring mga conditions na papag-aralan ng korte kung safe na ikaw ay i-release on bail. Okay? And this right to bail shall not be impaired even when the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus is suspended. Meaning, The right of the bail of all persons accused of a crime ay hindi dapat tanggalin yan, hindi dapat alisin yan kahit suspended yung writ of habeas corpus. Okay, we will discuss the writ of habeas corpus later on. And excessive bail shall not be required. Yung masyadong sobra naman yung bail. Mas malaki pa yung bail kaysa dun sa penalty or sa fine na imposable doon sa acts na yon. Now, what is a bail? Bail is defined under Section 1 of Rule 114 of the Rules of Court as the security given for the release of a person in custody of the law that is furnished by him or a bondsman to guarantee his appearance before any court as required under the condition. So, para may guarantee, para sigurado na siya ay babalik sa korte. Okay? Kasi merong parang nagsanla ka, no? Parang umutang ka, merong kang collateral, no? Okay, pautangan kita, kay ipahiram ko itong motor ko, pero mag-deposit ka sa akin ng 20,000 para sigurado na ibabalik mo sa akin yung motor. So, ganun yon. Okay? Papalayain kita, sabi ng court, pero ikaw ay either magbigay ng uh, ng uh, ng cash or surety bond or on recognizance, okay? Para sigurado na ikaw ay babalik. So, it is furnished by him, meaning pwedeng siya mismo magbibigay or yung bondsman. Mayroon kasi mga surety bonds, mga surety bond companies na nagpo-provide sila ng mga cash tawag natin assistance doon sa mga akusado. However, merong collateral na property. Kaya sila ang magbabayad ng bail doon sa korte or sila ang magbibigay ng surety bond sa korte. Pero ang condition nun ay may collateral normally na mga ari-arian na ibibigay doon sa tawag natin sa bondsman. So parang kwan lang yan, class, no? Parang tawag natin kapag ikaw ay nagsanla, okay? Nagsanla ka ng lupa, no? Yung titulo ng lupa, iiwan mo ngayon dun sa bangko, bibigyan ka ng cash. Pag hindi ka nakabayad, eh, sa gobyerno na or sa bangko na yung titulo ng lupa mo, yung lupa mo. Okay, so that's the idea of the bondsman. So, ang bail ba is a matter of right, no? Nabanggit ko na kanina that a bail is a matter of right. However, hindi siya absolute because there are exemptions. Okay? Yung mga akusado who are charged of heinous crimes punishable uh, we call it reclusion perpetua and the evidence is strong. So, okay? So, kailan naman a matter of right, meaning ito ay karapatan mo na kailangan ibigay sa ng korte na walang pakundangan or walang hesitation or dapat freely na ibigay sa iyo yung right mo na mag-bail, meaning walang hindrance dapat. Okay? So, ito, in Section 4, Rule 114, all persons in custody shall be admitted to bail as a matter of right with sufficient sureties or release on recognizance as prescribed by the law or by the rules of court. Okay? So, bago ka ma-convict, okay, meaning ongoing pa lang yung trial or bago pa mangyari yung trial or bago mangyari yung arraignment, okay, basta before conviction, okay, you can claim that right na kailangan ma-release ako on bail, ma-release ako temporarily, okay? At ako'y magbe-bail, magpo-post ako ng bail or ng surety bond or in recognizance. Then of course, that is on the first level courts. So pag sinabing first level courts, you are referring sa municipal trial courts in the cities, and municipal circuit trial courts. Yun ang mga first level courts na binabanggit natin. And on the regional trial courts naman, before conviction of an offense, if the penalty is not punishable by death, reclusion perpetua, or life imprisonment. Remember, in regional trial court, dati yan ay 6 years above yan, no? Or 6 years above yan. So, ngayon, kahit doon ka sa regional trial court nakasuan, as long as hindi punishable by reclusion perpetua, yung kaso mo, okay, ay it is a matter of right. Pero kapag strong yung evidence, okay, hindi ka ipagkakaluban ng right mo na mag-file ng bail mo. Pero pag mahina yung ebidensya, well, it is now in the discretion of the court whether you will be granted bail or you will be released on bail or on recognizance or by surety bond. So what are the exemptions? The on the bail as a matter of right, okay? So if bail can be granted in deportation cases, then there is no justification by why it should not also be allowed in extradition cases, no? Pag sinabing deportation, assuming you are a foreigner and you are a persona non grata or you have committed a violation of our criminal law in the country, or perhaps you have violated something immoral in our country, and uh, and you are temporarily released or you are temporarily incarcerated pending disposition of the case against you. Now, mayroong order na i-grant na i-deport ka na, so pwede ka nang lalabas on bail kasi anyway, i-deport ka naman. Now, sinasabi rin ng Government of Hong Kong versus Olalia, okay, cited by the attorneycalibre.com, ano, na dapat, sabi nila, sa extradition cases naman. Ano yung extradition cases? Ikaw ay may kaso sa Pilipinas, nagtatago ka sa Singapore, or nagtatago ka sa Malaysia, or sa Indonesia. Kailangan mong mag-appear sa Pilipinas. Okay? Na tawag natin para sa yung kaso. So, pwede na ikaw ay tawag na kailangan mong pauwiin ka sa Pilipinas. So, you can be released on bail also. Yan. Bail is a matter of right before final conviction. Well, that is already settled a while back. Again, as I've mentioned a while back, it is not absolute because when the offense is capital offense, then the evidence of guilt is strong, then we call it the person will not be given such right. But in the contrary, kapag mahina yung ebidensya, ay discretionary na ng court yan. Okay, so I have repeated that again. However, if a person is charged with a capital offense where the evidence of guilt is strong and if the accused has failing health, look to, sabi niya, okay, sabi natin kanina na kapag evidence is strong, capital offense, walang bail. Pero kahit malakas yung ebidensya at capital offense yung kaso mo, okay, however, if you are okay, failing health, meaning kailangan, tawag natin, malala yung sakit mo. May COVID-19 ka siguro or whatever, no? So for humanitarian reasons, he may be admitted to bail. But again, that is discretionary on the part of the court. Kaya pansin niyo yung mga government officials natin na nakakasuhan ng plunder cases, no? Hindi dapat mabail mga yon kasi mga capital offenses yon. Now, ang ginagawa nila, pupunta sila sa St. Luke Hospital, okay, nagpapa-hospital arrest sila, hospital detention, or magbabayad sila ng mga doktor para sabihin na meron silang sakit karamdaman. Para doon sila sa hospital makulong, hindi sa kulungan. Okay? So, yan mga style nila, no? Okay, so again, that particular provision is discretionary on the part of the court. Whether to grant you bail or not. Again, for humanitarian reasons, pwede kang palabasin, pero again, discretionary pa rin yan. Hindi siya absolute. So, kailan nagiging discretionary? So, when bail is discretionary. Again, when we speak of discretionary, ito yung pwede kang mag-decide to dismiss or not to dismiss sa preliminary investigation. As a police officer, you arrested somebody and you have that police discretion whether to file charges against that person or not. If you think that there is no prima facie evidence, if you think na mahina yung ebidensya, then it's your discretion to release the person. Okay? But if the evidence is so strong, then it's your you're now going to we call it file the necessary charges. Ganon din sa preliminary investigation ng prosecutor. Meron siyang discretion. So ganon din sa pagbibigay ng bail, discretionary, meaning pwedeng ibigay or pwedeng hindi na ibigay yung right na yan ng accused. That is upon conviction by the regional trial court, meaning if your penalty is 6 years above but not punishable by capital punishment, ikaw ay convicted, no? So ikaw pa rin ay pwedeng mabigyan ng bail. Kasi bakit? Kasi kapag ikaw ay tawag natin na convict ng Regional Trial Court, hindi naman outright na bibiyahe ka kaagad. No? Kasi pwede pa naman yan na mag-file ka ng appeal. O, tanda natin if the conviction, if the judgment is conviction, the accused has the right to file for an appeal. Since mag-a-appeal siya, so pwede pa rin siyang ma-release on bail as long as hindi capital punishment yung kanyang penalty. However, discretionary, hindi yan automatic dahil may mga conditions na tawag natin iseset or titignan ng court. Say for example, ikaw ay recidivist ka, ikaw ay may record na tumatakas, mga ganong bagay. Okay? So what are the points to consider in applying the discretion in the part of the judge or in the part of the court? If the penalty imposed by the trial court is imprisonment exceeding 6 years, ito yung sa RTC, and the accused shall be denied bail or his bail shall be cancelled upon showing by the prosecution with notice to the accused of the following or other similar circumstances. Meaning, ito ngayong mga tawag natin yung mga condition na hindi ka bibigyan ng bail after conviction. Okay? Or before conviction, pwede rin yan. Unang-una, kapag ikaw ay recidivist, meaning ikaw ay repeat offender, quasi-recidivist or habitual delinquent. No? Marami ka ng records na marami ka ng ginagawang kalukuhan, no? So the court will deny your bail. Okay? Or you have committed the crime aggravated by the circumstances of reiteration. In other words, repeated na paggawa yung crime mo. So, hindi ka palalayain ng court by means of bail, recognizance, or surety bond. So, what else? You have a record of previous escaping from legal confinement. Or you have evaded sentence. May ka ng record na nakasuhan ka na dati, nasintensyahan ka pero hindi ka na nagpakita, hindi ka na ikulong. Or violated the conditions of your bail without valid justification. During the pendency of your case, ay nag-violate ka ng conditions ng bail mo kasi may conditions din yan and you violated that, so that could be one of the grounds to consider whether your bail will not be granted or not. Okay? And you have committed the offense while under probation. Under probation ka, ibig sabihin, dati ka nang may kaso, under probation ka lang. Okay? Nagkakaso ka ulit, o yun, di ka bibigyan ng bail, di ka napalay ng bail. Or you are on parole, ibig sabihin, nakulong ka na dati, nakalabas ka lang. Or you are under conditional pardon, nakulong ka na dati, you are just released on parole or on pardon. Nagkakaso ka ulit. So, those are the cases na kukonsider ng court na hindi ka bibigyan ng papalayain by means of bail, surety, or recognizance. Again, those things are stated also by attorneycalibre.com. So what else? The circumstances of your case indicate the probability of flight if released on bail. So, merong tendency na ikaw ay tatakas. Assuming foreigner ka perhaps, or ikaw ay Phil-American, or ikaw ay citizen sa ibang country, dual citizen ka, at merong indication na maaari kang, malaking probability na maaari kang tatakas. And there is an undue risk that he may commit another offense during the pendency of the appeal. So merong tendency, merong risk, according to your psychological report perhaps, no? Merong risk na ikaw ay magko-commit ulit ng crime. So the court will not grant you the release on bail or on recognizance or on surety. So ano naman yung bail? Paano ilan yung bail na ibibigay or magkano yung bail na babayaran? Again, the Constitution provided that there shall be no excessive imposition of bail. So since that is the condition of the Constitution, so the judge who issued the warrant or granted the application shall fix a reasonable amount. When you say reasonable amount, baka naman ang fine ay 10,000. Ang magiging bail mo naman 20,000. Hindi yun reasonable. Diba? Kasi yung bail kasi, pag natalo ka o pag nanalo ka sa kaso, pwede mong makuha yan, pwede mong you have the right to withdraw that, no? I-reimburse mo yan. Kasi parang kuwan lang naman yan, parang yung pag nagsanla ka, nagpahiram ka, nag-iwan ka ng pera, so kukunin mo rin yung pera pag naibalik mo na yung motor, parang gano'n, no? So ganun lang din yan. Now, while you are on bail and you are acquitted, so you can reimburse the amount later on. Okay? And then kapag hindi ka, pag ikaw ay convicted, kukunin ng korte yan, gagamitin yan for your fine or for your other penalties. So another thing is uh, they shall consider the following factors: financial capability of the accused to give bail. So pwede mong sabihin doon na indigent ka, mahirap ka. So yung abogado mo, magpa-file siya ng consideration doon sa tawag natin sa korte na 20,000 yung bail, so gagawin nilang 10,000. So pwedeng ganon. The nature and circumstances of the offense. So anong klaseng offense yan? Capital offense ba yan? Heinous crime? What kind of offense is that? Yan by offense ng, say for example, sabihin natin yan ay it includes swindling of millions. So, di ba? Nag-swindle ka ng millions. So, malaki rin yung bail mo din dyan. Kasi ibig sabihin, marami kang millions na tinago. No? The penalty for the offense charge. Then the character and the reputation of the accused, as I mentioned a while ago. Then the age and the health of the accused. Okay? Yan, matanda na ba yan? Diba? Saka yung health condition niya, may kakayahan ba yan na magbayad? Tatakas pa ba yan? The weight of the evidence against the accused. Yan. Probability of the accused appearing at the trial. So yung probability na tatakas. So di malaki yung penalty mo kasi hindi ka namin pagbibigyan na kalahati lang because anyway baka pag tumakas ka at least enough na yung binayad mo sa korte, no? Na pangbayad sa fine mo or penalty or danyos mo, di ba? For future of other bails, okay? Meaning dati na na-forfeit ang bail mo, nakasonga na dati. The fact that the accused was a fugitive from justice when arrested and the pendency of other cases, marami ka pang ibang kaso and you are released also on bail. So those are the things na titignan, whether you will be granted and how much the bail you are going uh, to file in the court or to pay in the court. So what are the forms of bail? In Section 1, Rule 114, the laws of court, these are the yung mga bail natin. Okay? Of course, you have the cash deposit, no? That is number 3. But what is corporate surety? Corporate surety, one issued by a corporation. Take note, it is a corporation. Licensed to provide bail subscribed jointly by the accused and an officer duly authorized by its board of directors. So talagang yun ang purpose nila. Pwede kang doon. Sila ngayon ang ikaw wala kang pera, no? Wala kang pera, wala kang cash. Okay? Ang gagawin ngayon, punta ka sa isang corporate surety company, mag-apply ka doon ng corporate surety. Ibibigay, kung mayroon kang titulo ng real property, bigay mo doon. So, ngayon, yung company na yan, magbibigay ng certification na sila ang magpa-file ng bail doon. Yung certificate na in case na mag-jump bail ka, ay nakasanla yung lupa mo. So, pag bibili na yung lupa mo later on para mabayaran nila sa korte yung amount. Okay? Or, pwede ring cash kaagad yung ibigay doon. Then, the property bond. What is the property bond? An undertaking constituted as a lien on the real property given as security for the amount of the bond. So, pwedeng sa korte rin yan. Okay? Hindi ka nadadaan sa corporate surety, pwede ka nang dumiritso sa korte. Na ito na lang sir yung titulo ng lupa ko. Ito na lang sir ang amount nito is ganito, yun na lang ang pwede kong i-deposit as my bond, as my bail. What about the cash deposit? That is now the money deposited by the accused or any person acting on his behalf. So pwede. Si nanay mo, si tatay mo, si fiancé mo, with the nearest collector of internal revenue or provincial or city municipal treasurer or doon sa kung ano yung tinalaga ng city ninyo or municipality ninyo kung saan magbabayad. Considered as bail it may be applied to the payment of any fees and costs, and the excess, if any, shall be returned to the accused or to whoever made the deposit, if in case the suspect or the accused will be acquitted later on. What about recognizance? That is now an obligation of record entered into usually by responsible members of the community before some court or magistrate or before the court, okay, duly authorized to take it with the condition to do some particular act. The most usual act being to assure the appearance of the accused for trial, and that is according to People versus Abner. So pwedeng si mayor, okay? Pwedeng si yung pare, pwedeng yung ministro nyo sa church or pastor. So pwede yan, depende as long as he is recognized by the court na mapagkakatiwalaan para siya yung magdadala sa'yo later on sa korte pag ikaw ay during trials, no? You are summoned for trial. Okay? So those are the possible bails, no, na pwedeng i-pose ng isang accused. Again, as we have said, every accused has the right to be presumed innocent unless proven otherwise. Therefore, since their guilt is not yet proven, so the Constitution is granting them the right to pose a bail. But again, the granting of bail is not outright because there are certain conditions as to the penalty imposed and as to the crime imposed and as to the character and reputation also of the accused. Okay, so with that, even in the Bible, why are you innocent? Just like in the court. No, bakit ka inosente? Malamang false accusation. Malamang false judgment yung binigay sa'yo. False accusation. So, marami rin ganon na false accusation. So if you are, we call it the person who falsely accused another person para lang makulong lang siya, ito naman ang sabi ng Bible sa inyo. Do not forget this. In Proverbs chapter 19 verse 9, a false witness will not go unpunished. Okay? So perhaps, no? Kung sa korte natin, pwede kang balikan later on. Pwede kang filean ng libel, no? Pwede kang filean ng oral defamation, whatever, no? Appropriate case na pwedeng i-file sa'yo. Or, kung di ka man finailan, dahil na-convict yung tao because pure false accusation, kasi marami namang ganon. Falsely accused, hindi totoo, pero na-convict pa rin. Kasi that is our court, no? Yung depende kasi yan sa merit ng mga evidence sa witness din. So ngayon, if you falsely accuse a person at nakulong yan, so hindi na siya hindi ka na niya sampahan ng kaso kasi sabi ng korte ay totoo yung kanyang accusation. Now the Lord will we call it, will ask you to repay that, no? And he who breathes out lies will perish. In other words, may parusa, no? Kaya mag-ingat din kapag kayo ay nagpa-file ng kaso, siguraduhin niyo lang na totoo kasi di ka man makasuhan sa batas ng tao. The Lord God Almighty, the God of the Bible is watching. Sigurado sisingilin ka niyan later on. Okay? So with that, thank you for listening. Once again, good morning, good day, good afternoon, and good evening, whatever time you are watching this. Okay? So do not forget to subscribe and comment. If ever you have not subscribed yet, you subscribe. Okay? And if you have any question, you are free to ask question by writing your comment down below. Thank you very much, and God bless us all.